Oh, yes, it's good to be back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another day in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. Today in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with an Azorius build. Sorry, just had to get the lucky hat in place. Things cannot roll onwards from here without it. But yeah, as I was saying, an Azorius build. Bahamut's Brood, I'm calling it. It is we're trying to, hopefully I'll get there. So far, so good, if I do have to say so myself. Break, if not break, at least make functionable this card, Grandmaster of the Flowers, the legendary Planeswalker from the AFR set. At first, I was like, what a crock of crap. I was really unimpressed. But now that I have, I think, figured out a very good shell for him, suddenly things have started to pop off. I've gotten something like 70% win rate with this over the last over 15 games. I've been playing it the entire day. So I'm not just coming at you with some like false promises and empty statistics. This is a legitimately good deck in best of one. Okay, my content is all best of one. It's definitely I honestly I cannot wait until standard 2022 play queue either obtains a best of three queue, which I don't think they're going to do until after rotation, so whatever. But if it did have one, things would be a lot different. But like I said, my content is best of one. So best of one is a very unique meta. The decks are much more, let's say, what I like to call silver bullet decks. They're not gonna work against everything. And because you don't have a game 2 and a game 3 to sideboard, there'll be certain matchups against which you're just not going to win, and that's just the way best of one is. There's no way that you can build a deck that is perfect against every single other deck in a best of one format. There's going to be decks that will beat you no matter how well you build it because of the color pie and the limitations that you run up against in the color pie. So this is one such deck, which is definitely not incredible against everything that's out there in the meta, but incredibly good against a lot of things that are out there in the meta. And I like them to be that way in best of one because it covers many angles, and if you get a good draw, if you get a good hand, then it smashes. And so this is the deck. Let me do my usual thing. I'm just going to dive into the deck tech, run through some of the play lines and best synergies and sort of what it is that we're trying to do with the deck. What are the win cons? How are we gonna, bring the opponent's life down to zero with this pile of cards? And we'll start with the Monk of the Open Hand, which is a elf monk for 1 mana, and it is tied. The reason why I'm starting with this card, aside from the fact that it is the first card in the deck, starting from left to right, the way we read in the West, but it is tied directly to the Grandmaster of the Flowers. Like, I've seen other players, YouTubers, streamers, play Grandmaster of Flowers without even running Monk of the Open Hand in the deck, but honestly, that feels a bit weird, because it does something. Okay, so before I go into that point and that hot take, let me just read what this card does. Okay, so Grandmaster of the Flowers. 4 mana, 2 colorless, 2 white, legendary planeswalker, Bahamut. It has a static ability that says that as long as it has 7 or more loyalty counters on him, he is a 7/7 dragon god creature with flying and indestructible. Okay? But it comes into play with 3 loyalties, so you need to plus it up 4 times before you can get there. Of course, they don't design these things horribly. Sometimes they do, but in this case, I think they did a good job. They need to make it so that you can get there in some way, shape, or form. usually by the time you've dropped this on turn 4, they've already played a, what's the Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa card with the flying cleric 3/1 that exiles things from your hand, or anything. There's plenty of significant threats that will be able to get through and remove your planeswalker the following turn the moment you've dropped it. Even though you drop it, you +1 it. It has 4 loyalty. The next turn they attack you with Sunning. It goes from the battlefield. So what a horrible card. No, that is not the case, because it has a way of intrinsically protecting itself. The +1, or that has 2 +1s, but one of the +1 says that target creature without. And this is a little bit weird. I honestly don't know why they did this. Maybe it would have been a little bit too busted. I don't know why they phrased it this way in particular, but target creature without first strike, double strike, or vigilance. So basically, unfortunately, all of the angel tokens that the angel deck is making, most significantly. Other things with first strike and double strike, a little bit less prevalent in the meta right now, but vigilance is a big one to put into this clause, because there's a lot of 4/4 flying angel creature tokens that this cannot hit. But aside from that matchup, like I was saying earlier in the introduction, where there's certain matchups that are just horrible. But other than that, you can +1 this and target one of your opponent's creatures and make it so that it cannot attack or block until your next turn. So there's a way, in a sense, as long as you've got something also on the field, and you usually do, because we do play Monk of Opening Hand, Dragon's Disciple, Dragon Turtle, other creatures that are going to hit the field before the Grandmaster of Flowers, that will be able to get in the way of, let's say they have 3 or 4 creatures on the board, you +1 on one of them, you have 2 blockers for the other 2, you're going to be able to protect your Grandmaster of Flowers. And then the following turn, you can either keep +1 in the way that I've just mentioned, or the second +1 is that you can search your library and or graveyard, which is great because you can be fetching these monks of the open hand, not just from your library, but from your graveyard. So if they do get removed, they're just this recursive, annoying threat that can grow. It's a 1-drop, it's a 1/1, but whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. So these things can grow, and if they do get removed, you can always go and fetch them again from your graveyard with Grandmaster of Flowers. So a great little thing that usually we don't get to see much of in white is this ability to bring things back from the graveyard. We do see it, there was Elspeth Conquers Death. Most recently, there is the Cleric class, which when you level up to level 3, at sorcery speed, you can bring something back from the graveyard and you gain life equal to the toughness of the creature or something like that. But it's not a very usual ability or thing that you can do in white, so I'm pretty happy about that. This, what if you do get rid of all they either target removal or sweep the board, your monks are gone, you can start bringing them back with Grandmaster Flowers and keep them there as blockers so that you can keep plussing him to that 7 loyalty so that you can make it into a 7/7 dragon god creature with flying and indestructible, which is what we're trying to do in the deck. Okay, so enough about that little synergy. Grandmaster Flowers, Monk of the Open Hand. They are connected, they work really well together, I like it. If you're not fetching it from the graveyard, the Monk, then you can also +1 on a target creature and stop it from attacking or blocking until your following turn, which is, again, great. Boom. That's out of the way. Next up, we've got 3 portable holes. This is a weird one. If you're playing against mono-white weenies or mono-red goblins or mono-green, they have a lot of tokens now with the Ranger class. This is great. This gets rid of any token that doesn't have X-proof. So even a much bigger, 8/8 token or whatever the hell, you can get rid of it with portable hole. But at some point in the game, it just becomes a little bit useless, especially against some of the bigger decks. This doesn't hit much at the moment. But it's any non-land permanent. It also hits all of the classes. Okay, pretty good. Yeah, there's many reasons why I think, and most significantly in this particular deck is that yes, I know I'm streaming. Sorry. Why not taking chainsaw? Ciao. My cousin, my older cousin, he just popped in to say goodnight. You can get the trigger on of the. There he is. Yes! Hello.
You're back to the line.
Okay. But what time?
6.
Then I don't see you again.
I
Nice.
don't know the other.
Ah, no, non sono ancora tornato. Sorry, guys. Little interruption. My cousin, the family house. It's actually great. I love it. Where was I? The portable hole. It can get the trigger off on the Monk of the Open Hand quite easily, as it is a 1-drop. You do want to be double casting every turn on top of the monk so that you can grow it quickly enough. So we wanted some cheap spells to be able to do that with, that also add some significant value to the deck. So portable hole, 3 of, could have been a 4 of, could have been 2 of. I think 3 of is the perfect point at which to leave it at. Next up we have Dragon's Disciple, another monk. I think these two were intended to be played together. Honestly, as Dragon Disciples enters the battlefield, you may reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you do, or if you control a dragon, so on the field, Dragon's Disciple enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And then for the rest of the turn, it has a static, or the rest of the game, as long as it's on the field, it has a static ability that says that dragons you control have ward +1. Which is great. This is great. Okay, we have not only the Dragon Turtle, we not only have Icingdeath, the Frost Tyrant. We also have Iymrith, the Desert Doom. We also have Grandmaster of Flowers himself, which eventually becomes a dragon. So there's a lot of dragons, and that makes a lot of sense to be running the Dragon's Disciple. And when you drop a 2-mana spell that ends up being a 2/4 with that gives all your other dragons ward 1, that is incredible value, so it makes perfect sense to be running 4 copies of Dragon's Disciple in this deck. Next up, we're running a counter spell, which I have not played at all. This is the first deck that I've ever played Reject in, but there is a lot of creature spells, very like aggro creature decks in the meta right now, and I think this is a great little counter, which is starting to come to the forefront. It says that you can counter target creature or planeswalker spell unless its controller pays 3. So, usually you want to be doing this turn 2, turn 3. And if that spell is countered this way, exile it instead. Instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. I'm still undecided. We're going to keep testing the deck. By the end of the video, I will decide whether I prefer running Reject or just putting a couple copies of Negate in there, because it essentially ends up doing the same thing except for the exile thing. But Negate, they cannot pay 3 to, counter the counter. So we'll see. So far, it's been doing its job when it's necessary, and I quite like it, and I really love the art and the flavor text. Grux, for the last time! You have to do more than simply shout apply at the administrators. Rejected, Budang, by Pavel, the admissions officer. Anyway, it's an Azorius deck. We need to have some counters. So there's 2 copies of Reject, 1 copy of Test of Talents, and 3 full set of Sword Coming. I think that's a nice little counterspell package in a deck like this. I was initially running 3 copies of Iymrith, but it is kind of the top end of the deck, and you do not want to be drawing this on turn 2, on turn 3, and it just having sitting in your hand until turn 5, especially considering how many people are playing a Prismari Dragons deck, which is filled with counters. So I went down to 2 copies and went up a Test of Talents and put in some rejects. I think this is a nice little counterspell package right here. Next up, we're running a couple of copies of Invoke the Divine. I don't know if this is the only redundant, perhaps, card in the deck. This could be absolutely changed I think I might even just do it right now. Look, like, now, it's funny how I do this to myself. In deck teching, in describing the deck out loud to myself and to you guys, I always pick up little things that I didn't pick up at first when I was crafting the deck or, brewing the deck. Invoke the Divine, I initially put in here to deal with, classes mostly, but we've got Portable Hold. It might not be that necessary to be running 2 copies of this, and there might be things that are better to run. Beg your pardon. Namely, I would say, in the 3-drop slot, I might actually replace Invoke the Divine with, whereas now Expel. Let's play a few games on the stream and then see how it goes. And worst case, I think I would actually prefer to either run Expel, or there's one that is Foretellable that does the same thing. Where is it now? This one is the one I was thinking of. Yes. Also on the 3-drop slot. This might actually be the better card to run. There aren't that many enchantments or artifacts that are really, really pesky, but there is, the Angels deck with their sagas. There are still a few really annoying enchantments and artifacts, and the gain 4 life is really good on the Invoke the Divine. So let's just, again, leave it at that. If we run across some weird games where I feel like it might be better to run the other one, we shall make the changes before the end of the video, and I will then upload the most up-to-date version of the deck to Ether Hub for you guys to copy and download and enjoy. Next up, Dragon Turtle. Okay, Azorius Dragons. This is a dragon, believe it or not. Underwater Dragon Turtle. And it's funny because it's one of the few cards of late where the name of the card is also the creature type. The cool thing is it's a great blocker. Okay, 3/5, that's great. It only costs 3 mana. It has Flash, and it has Drag Below. So when it enters the battlefield, you tap it and up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. They do not untap their controller's next untap step. So, a little bit of a tempo play. It's hard for me to explain exactly the best moment in which to cast this, but it has been putting in the freaking work. End of their turn, you flash this in, tap their creature, it taps yours as well. The following turn, you untap, it doesn't untap yet, but their creature remains tapped. You can get in for more damage, keep the pressure going, and then when it does untap, you've gained a lovely 3/5 blocker, which has not just that going for it. It also, has Ward 1 and can be revealed by your Dragon's Disciple when you drop it on turn 2. Which is great, because you don't always want to be showing the opponent that you've got Icingdeath or Iymrith in hand. It might be better to show them the Dragon Turtle instead, or vice versa, because this is kind of a little bit of a surprise. Flash it in. Maybe you don't want them to know you have the Dragon Turtle, or sometimes you want them to know you have the Dragon Turtle, because that might stop them. If it's revealed in your hand and they can see that you've got it, and they know that you can flash this in at any point and tap whatever they play, that might stop them from playing something that would, be detrimental to you. So it's got so many kind of tempo-y play elements in it, which I really like, and I thought it was a rubbish card at first, but in this shell, it's been putting in the work like you have no idea. So Dragon Turtle, check it out. I'll hope to showcase it to you in the gameplay footage after this introduction to the deck. We've already talked about Grandmaster of the Flowers. The next card up is Icingdeath, the Frost Tyrant. It's also 4-drop, 2 and 2 white for a legendary creature dragon. Flying Vigilance, which is great. When it dies, you create a legendary white equipment artifact token called Frost Tongue that has equip 2, and the equipped creature gets +2/+0, and whenever it attacks, Tap target creature defending player controls. I really love this card. It's really well designed. The flavor on it, the fact that the equipment is called Frost Tongue. You're like getting the tongue and using that in some way on your creature. If you can equip this on a Iymrith, if you can equip this on a Dragon Turtle, if you can equip this on a Monk of the Open Hand, if you can equip this, the equipment, of course, the Frost Tongue onto Dragon's Disciple, suddenly things get really interesting. They might have that one singular blocker up that they're hoping to have them survive to the point where they can make their next big play. You can just be attacking in with even a tiny little creature and tapping their blocker and getting in for that damage regardless. So it's a very versatile. I love the fact that it has vigilance. I wish it had. I wish it was a 4/4. But other than that, I think Icingdeath is underplayed and a little bit of a sleeper in the meta. And I really, really, really like this card. And it synergizes really nicely with the Cave of the Frost Dragon. A little bit more about that in a second. But Icingdeath, Frost Tyrant, 3 copies. Very poetic, very mathematic, very neat. Sort of 4-drop slot where you have 3 of each, and they both end up being dragons at some point. And of course, you can equip the Frost Tongue onto the Grandmaster of Flowers himself. So another little thing to keep in mind. Then, of course, we're playing mono white. We're playing Azorius. We needed 1 sweeper. Doomskar is phenomenal. Why wouldn't I be running this? And if we can get the Grandmaster of Flowers up to 7, it gains indestructible. So you can sweep the field with Doomskar. The following turn, you +1, you bring back your Monk of the Open Hand. You start to rebuild your field, but you've still, you've wiped them, and you've still got a 7/7 flyer. So pretty nice little interaction there, which I hope to showcase once again in the gameplay footage. And then a couple of copies of the Desert Doom, Iymrith, which has Ward 4, is a 5/5 flyer, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card, and if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, you draw cards equal to the difference. So if you have no cards in hand, you draw 3. If you have 1 card in hand, you draw 2, and if you have 3 and up, you draw 1, regardless. Amazing card, great blocker, fits the deck theme, draws you cards. I love it. Had to be included in the deck. And then there's the mana base. We're playing 2 man lands. I know some people hate it when you say that, but 2 creature lands, two lands that can become creatures. Hall of the Storm Giants, which is a win con in and of itself, becomes a 7/7 blue giant creature with Ward 3 for 6. One thing you really need to remember, I've made this mistake so many times that I felt the need to bring this up in the video, is that often you can do this including itself as one of the mana in the cost. So if you only have 6 lands on the field and you pay the cost to turn it into a giant, it will turn into a giant, but it's going to be tapped because you used it to pay for its own cost of activation. You need 7 mana on the field for this to end up actually being, or 7 lands on the field for this to actually end up being the 7/7 blue giant creature with Ward 3 that can actually swing in and do some damage. Otherwise, you're just going to be creating a tapped creature that sits there. I've done that so many times. Please be aware of it. The same thing goes for the Cave of the Frost Dragon. It costs 5, 4 colorless, 1 white. But if you just have 5 and you do that, you end up with a tapped dragon creature with flying that does nothing and could actually be targeted by some instant speed removal. So just be aware of that. You need 6 in this case to make it into a flyer that can actually attack. So something to keep in mind. Other than that, we're running a couple of copies of Gates of Istfell in case we need to draw some cards, gain some life. You can sacrifice it for, admittedly a lot, which is why I'm only running 2 copies. Unfortunately, this mana base is a little wonky. Okay, there's 7 of each color. What if we don't draw the right colors at the right time? There's not, you know, I didn't want to bring this into snow mana territory and bring in the other dual lands. There's no snarl in this color. We do not have access to Fabled Passage. Ugh. And there's no benefit that I can see right now for running, you know, the wilds. What's it called? The Call of the... Oh my goodness. It's this point in the evening and I'm drawing blanks. Wilds. Evolving Wilds. There's no good reason to run Evolving Wilds in this deck. So, yeah, the mana base is what it is. There's 7 and 7 basics. But at least we have the 4 pathways, and we are running, you know, the man lands. And that should kind of help us along the way. That's the deck. Not that complex, but definitely watch your plays. What we're trying to do here is, you know, get a Grandmaster of Flowers onto the field after having played 1 or 2 other creatures along the way so that we can protect it and plus it up until the point at which it reaches 7 loyalty and it becomes a 7/7 dragon god creature with flying and indestructible called Bahamut. And from that point onwards, the game just starts to go swimmingly. We have ways of controlling the board, making sure that we can get there, namely Portable Hole, all of our counter spells, and Doomskar, to make sure that we can get the Grandmaster of Flowers to, you know, +1 4 times. At which point the game starts to just go your way. Yeah. Simple as that. Let's see if I can get it to go down on stream for you guys. Let's jump into some games. Before I do so, as usual, if I could kindly ask all of you who have not done so already to consider subscribing to the channel. I have recently hit 87 subscribers. I'm really happy about that. And I'm pushing to reach the 100 sub mark by the end of the month. Hopefully we can get there. If not, I'll be happy regardless. But yeah, consider please subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. And of course, you know, liking and, you know, leaving me some comments down below. And if you do want to be notified every time I'm about to go live or when I upload a video, hit the bell icon. That way you will know everything that is going down on this channel. Opening hand, playing against Django. Mr. 92%. We've dropped down a little bit because I was playtesting some crazy jank earlier, but this is a crappy hand, I think. It's mulligan. It's a little better. Bye-bye. Poured myself a very small whiskey tonight. That's just lovely. Portable Hole, doing its thing. Sorry, mono green. I'm gonna try to play Ranger class now, but I'm, I think, a little bit ahead in as far as value goes. Yeah, I'm going to swing in and keep up a reject for a creature that he will for sure cast, as this is mono green. Watch this. Unless it's Ranger class. It's probably going to play like a Kazandu Mammoth, which would be amazing. Please play the Kazandu. Please play the Kazandu. Nope. Inscription of Abundance. And then he's going to Blizzard. man, that sucks. Land would have been nice there. No, that can't be counted. Ay, caramba! Thank goodness I didn't do that by mistake. Draws a card. Okay. All right. Kind of want a second blue source. It's the problem with the mana base. It's a little bit dodgy. Oh, I think that's game over, isn't it? Mono green, lads. This deck is really good. I hate losing the first game on stream, but hey, c'est la vie. Alright. On to the next match with a bit of bad luck. We had some great, like, portable hold early game and just got mana screwed. Could have gone on very differently if we'd picked up a second blue source. Yeah, I'll keep that. Mardu! Spirits, clerics, dragons, you name it. Could be anything. It's been such a shift. I think to, you know, deal with the emergent, I beg your pardon, of the fact that we don't have triomes. Triomes. How important have triomes been in standard now that we don't have them? It's like such a difference. Something like some reanimator shenanigans. He's trying to fill his graveyard with things. Double black. Dodge first. And again with the mana problems. I think I have 25 lands in this deck. There's the opponent, of course, is making all of his mana drops. Her mana drops. There's nothing quite as frustrating. Last night we were flooding like crazy. Tonight we're bricking a tad. What is he trying to play that requires more than 5? Sweepers. Ah, OG deck. No creatures. Interesting. I still have not played Cody once. Ever. Not even in playtesting, off-camera nonsense. I've not played Cody once. He's got so much removal though in a deck like this. Yeah, come on. Do what you were gonna do. It's okay. Nice. I love this standard 2022. Like, just never have any idea what the hell is going on. Okay. Fortunately, Portable Hole doesn't hit Cody, which sucks. I haven't seen this played at all outside of Limited. Okay. We're pretty screwed, I think. Cool. It's just like something new and refreshing. Already we're at the point in this new play queue where like Prismari Dragons, mono green. You know, the meta decks have already risen to the top and are being overplayed, which is fine, you know, don't get me wrong. I do love complaining, but I still think it's a very, very healthy meta. It's not just a couple of decks that are shredding. The control decks have risen up to combat them. I quite like Dimir Control's new face. Mono red is nowhere to be seen. Aggro decks fallen off to the wayside. I really hope that, and many of my friends and people on the Facebook groups that I'm part of are talking about the same sort of trend. It seems as if the mid-range is making a bit of a comeback, and we're all hoping that with the emergence of Innistrad in September, that trend will continue, because it's refreshing. It was either like really good control decks or really good aggro decks, and that's about it of late. What happens again? Okay. Ooh, got some creatures in here. I wouldn't mind a Doomskar off the top. Get rid of all this rubbish. So now we can double Portable Hole his tokens. Oof, this is looking nasty. Combo deck of nodes. Once he goes off, this is gonna be interesting. Should we just play a Tyrant? Or should we double Portable his little doodad? This is not looking great, I must tell you. What a weird card. Like when I first saw it, I just was like, okay, this is for Commander. Fine. Okay, the one comes the ridiculous code shenanigans. And the Blood Chief's Thirst, the other guy. Ay ay ay. Ay ay ay. so much removal in this deck. It's not looking good at all, lads. Lads and ladies. Look how much land he's got. Ay, ay, ay. Lucky hat. It's not doing the job, man. This only actually goes off when he casts it, and then it does the whole. Doomskar. Game, buddy. Yagura! Yagura! Sounds like a manga character. Yep, that was a bit annoying. Like I said, this is best of one. There's plenty of matchups in which this will be a bit of a rubbish deck, but when you do get those wins, I promise you, it feels amazing. So Glen Grant in a glass there, mate. I feel like I'm in Scotland drinking all of this scotch. Single malt Scotch whiskey, the Major's Reserve. Product of tall pots, stills, and unique purifiers, this whiskey represents nature and human genius in perfect harmony. Scottish viewers, I love you. I'm not trying to rip you off. I honestly love your accent. It's one of my favorites. It's a nice little hand there. Got a great curve out. That's enough land deck, thank you. Turn 2 at 2/4 with you know, that gives my dragon's ward is nothing to be scoffed at. Got another angel deck. Eric. That's fine. Let's do the old Fortelleroo. Really starting to think that might be better off running. Okay. Finally we can start getting this. Oh no, see? We were just talking about this. Okay. It's a sweeper time. Trust me. We couldn't have +1 the angel. Why does this say vigilance?
Not even a meal before battle? Very well. I am proud of all my followers.
Yep, double strike. Hopefully you'll go for the Grandmaster instead of Phased. Alright, this is the deck that got me to Mythic, okay? I'm gonna be upfront and honest and tell you that this is the stupid deck that got me to Mythic. That is now a, whatever the hell the deck, the card's called that makes a bunch of angels. So frustrating. I'm trying to keep the cave of the Frost Dragon up. Maybe catch him unawares and block something. That's the one I meant. Starheim Unleashed. Bye-bye. It's so busted, guys. Like, if you haven't done so already, you're trying to make Mythic quick, craft yourself. You don't even need to craft it. Like, it's full of nonsense. Rares, no Mythics. There's not a single new card in that deck. It's all just Kaldheim stuff and what have you. It's so bloody good. I almost feel bad recommending this because that just means I'm going to end up against more of them on the ladder. But Wars of the Angels, what a deck right now. Just shredding up and down the ladder. It's so well positioned right now. Like, honestly, it's perfect mid-range deck. You just play the Angels in your hand, you win the game. You saw that. Like, whatever, don't get me started. Mulligan. Gonna get rid of that. Luminarch Aspirant. Come on, deck. Do your thing. I was just winning games, man. Merapocalyptic. Merapocalyptic. Why? Get fucked. Die slowly. A horrible death. You annoying person who's not letting me draw lands. That's not a card. Nah, it's an arena card. With double strike. What a joke. What a joke. Why do they let this into the game at all? Can sweep them. We're taking a lot of damage now though. Yep.
Do enough to thwart evil. No more, no less.
This should not be allowed. This should not be allowed in ranks. Period.
To evil's challenges.
Let me draw a card. I'm okay with that. Exile my dragon. Come on. Now you want to. Blue source. Blue source.
Look how talented my
He's not running the monks. I, on the other hand, am.
It's a shame we must fight on such a lovely day.
Yes, there's one in my graveyard. So, graveyard.
My acolytes are paragons.
He's got the
of justice.
cool extended art version. For fuck's sakes.
Evil never rests, so neither will we. Consider the evil within
Oh
yourself.
no. Oh. Why the misplays, buddy? Why am I coming at you with these misplays? I should have played the monk first. Horrible misplay.
We need not fight here.
Yeah, that's game over. Well done. Good on you, mate. Me, man. Some horrible luck so far, lads and ladies. Let's keep the party going. We are 50 minutes in. I need to get one win before the stream ends. Honestly, like, variants and whatnot. But I was getting a lot more wins before this happened. You know what? So far, we have not needed that stupid card once. Let's make the adjustments as I mentioned earlier. Bye-bye. Foretell. A little bit of extra removal. And you know what? Screw test of talents. Let's put in an extra iron verdict. I like that. Now that we don't have to get rid of Emergent Ultimatum, Test of Talents is a little less important. This was a good adjustment. Then Chevy. Where are my lands, mate? How can this ever happen? Blows my mind. The one card just could have gone into that. Very nice. Good on you, mate. Good on ya. Try and attack me through that. Okay. From Hengegate, baby! Having the worst luck there. Yeah, snore. Fuck you. Nice. Snore away, my dear fellow. Blue sauce would be great, thank you. First time I've seen that being played.
I will defend the weak from the wicked.
That is the first time I've seen anybody play this card. Asmodeus, the Archfiend. Okay. problemo. Just what I was hoping you would do.
There are better ways to behave.
Make a pest. Where's the sweeper, mate? I need a sweeper like yesterday.
Stay your hand. Let's talk.
Okay, that's how that works. Interesting.
I shall not let you harm others.
Nine life. Alright. Guess that's pretty damn cool, actually. Play a creature. Come on. Play a creature. Any creature. Something really frustrating and annoying. Off you go. Bye-bye. Exile. Oh! Yeah, hope not. Okay. Let's do this. Bye-bye. God, we got that off the top. Unfortunately, because there was the Valentine on the field, everything got exiled. Which is a little bit frustrating, but that is luck. Blue mana, please. Blue mana, please. Blue mana, please, deck. Give me the blue mana. That's all I ask. I just need to get this guy 2 more times. Yeah. Oh my god. Another Doomskar. White man.
Rise to evil's challenges.
Oh, mate. Just give me the freaking mana when I want it. Like, it's not that, like, come on, man. 1 blue source in the top 20 cards of my deck. Like, that's a little bit weird. No? Oh, hey Billy, welcome to the party, brother. Having the worst day today. Just absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. This deck was performing all afternoon. I felt really confident, which is why I made this video. I always want to bring you guys the best decks possible. And just absolute rubbish. And it's not a rubbish deck. Don't get me wrong, guys. Craft this thing. It's good. I've just had like a never-ending, worst possible matchups, one after the next. It's just the way the matchmaker works. I honestly think that Wizards needs to do something about this because I'm not the only one complaining about it. It's a little bit ridiculous how many times you just get the worst possible matchup and like then you switch your deck to, you know, fight against the other matchup that you do not want to be going up against, and suddenly it's the only thing you don't play anymore. It's so weird. Like, here we go, mirror match. Final game of the stream, we have a mirror match. Looks like Zorius. Foretell dragons things. Go, bye-bye. Let's play another blue source, and why would the auto tapper? Okay. Behold the multiverse. I would love to see your poison deck, Billy. Send it to me on Facebook. That would be pretty damn sweet. I'd love to see that. I might actually run it tomorrow. I haven't tried playing poison with what's his face, the warrior guy, Finn, the Fang Bearer, in this new meta. So I'd love to see your deck. Bye bye. Feels like I'm playing in a sort of semi-mirror. Big problem.
I'll learn much. I am never defenseless.
I guess he wasn't expecting that. Bye bye, Mordekainen. I guess. What happens to the tokens once he leaves? Stay there, right? Yeah.
Don't follow me.
At least we can portable hold this guy out of existence. Secondary copy of Mordekainen.
One must first know.
Of course, of course. What a joke. What a day, man. What a crappy stream. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. These things happen. I played this deck all day. It was good. I really had fun and it was performing. I've now just lost 6 in a row or something like that. We're gonna have to call it a night. Thank you, Billy, for sending me the deck. Thank you everybody so much for watching up until this point. I am sorry that the deck just did not do what it was supposed to do. I will see you all tomorrow with some fresh brews. And until then, this is the Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out.